Rob Dauster comes to us from Connecticut in stores from inside Gamble, where tonight the UConn Huskies earned their 21st win and did it in emphatic fashion. They get revenge on Providence, 87-69. The Huskies 10-7 in the Big East. They've separated themselves into the top 5 of the conference, and UConn made a statement tonight. Rob Dauster made a statement.
It was, for my money, the best that we've seen this team play since probably Portland. You know, I think that's probably what it was when they were beating up on the likes of Alabama and they were beating up on the likes of Iowa State. And it was nice to see them kind of get their swagger back, right? Like, it's been a while since we've seen that UConn team show up playing that way. Now, a lot of it probably had to do with the fact that they were playing in this building with everybody wearing the same color white, with everybody swinging their towels, and with everybody enjoying the $2 Miller Lights that were going around. It was actually pretty funny at tip-off. I would say a good 30% of the lower bowl seats were empty, but the concourses were completely packed because everybody was in line trying to get their next beer. And a lot of people made the right decision to grab 2 at a time every time that they went up there to grab it. I saw a lot of people double fisting. But I'll say this about UConn. I've kind of been steadfast on this. When Tristan Newton shows up and when Tristan Newton is really good, it changes what UConn is. And when Andre Jackson is playing with his shoulders back and his chest out, and he's playing, I said it on Top Dogs, I said it on my podcast, when he's playing like he's Andre effing Jackson instead of just Andre Jackson, that's when UConn is at their best. When they get that Tristan and when they get that Andre Jackson. Because, like, you know what you're going to get from Adama Sanogo, right? I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that necessarily is like the most dominant player on the floor. But you know what you're going to get from him. He's solid. He's going to give you a post release, right? You're going to be able to get passing from him out of the high post. He's going to be a good positional defender. He's going to rebound. He's going to block some shots. And you know what you're going to get from Jordan Hawkins. Some night he's going to go 7 for 10 from 3. Some nights he's going to go 2 for 10 from 3. But you're going to get him running off of those screens. You're going to get the open looks. You kind of know what you're going to get from those two guys. But when Tristan Newton plays great, and he wasn't great tonight. He was good. He wasn't great tonight, but he played with that confidence. Same thing with Andre Jackson. When you get it from those two guys, those are the difference makers, I think, John.
There's nobody in college basketball whose energy when on is a direct parallel to what his team ends up doing than Andre Jackson's energy, hustle plays, his ability to get out on the run can do for this Connecticut team. It says it all that in 33 minutes tonight, he took a total of 3 shots. He had 4 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. This wasn't some absurd scoring game. But Rob, his floor game, he does the things that make you continually say, wow. Wow.
The big thing with him is it's the defense, right? It is the presence that he gives you rebounding. Like, he shut off the water for Devin Carter. Devin Carter is in my mind is going to end up being an NBA player. Like, I think he's one of the best defenders, the best perimeter defenders you're going to find in college basketball. He is a guy that can create his own bucket, that can make threes, that can play off the bounce. He's got long arms. He's athletic. He's got that NBA pedigree because of who his dad is. And Andre Jackson shut the water off for him tonight. And it was to the point, I swear I've never seen this out of a Providence team before, but like, I don't want to say they quit. Like, that's the wrong way to phrase it. But there was like a level of, man, we're just not going to get it this time. But like 4 minutes left in that game, Bryce Hopkins is walking up the floor. Devin Carter's walking up the floor. I think you heard in the press conference, Ed Cooley kind of called him out a little bit on it. Like, that's not what you expect out of this team. And to me, that is what UConn was doing to teams earlier in the year. And I don't know if this is necessarily like them being, I'm doing air quotes here, them being back or whatever. But that was the best UConn performance we've seen since we didn't really know what they could be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, which is my question to you. Is UConn's best the best in the Big East?
I don't think so. I know that they just lost. I still think Creighton is the best team in the league. And how can you argue with Marquette? Like, how can you argue with the team that is? We know how good Providence is. We know how good Creighton is. We know how good UConn is. We know how good Xavier is. And Marquette is 2 games in front of all of them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I think one of the things I took away last night, Fanta, from and not to get off this game, but one of the things I took away from last night was the ability that Marquette has to create turnovers when they need to. I don't think that they're a great defensive team because I don't know if they have that many great defensive players. They don't really have the rim protection that they had last year. And when you get out and you pressure and when you get out and you overplay, it's really important that you have that element of rim protection to take that away. But man, that when they decided to guard last night, there wasn't really all that much that Creighton was able to do. That was as impressive of a second half as I've seen on the road in that building in front of 18,000 people, down by 12 with 4 minutes left in the first half. Man, I don't know. I've been steadfast on this, and I've been called a homer about this. I think that the top of the Big East is the best conference, like as good as better than the Big 12. I think the top 4, maybe 5 in the Big East when UConn's playing like this is better than the top 4 or 5 in the Big 12. You can call me crazy, you can call me homer, you can call me whatever you want, but this is a very, very, very good league at the top.
If it's not 1, it's certainly 2. And I would say from an entertainment value standpoint, that's just it. It's that when these teams are getting together, the entertainment value of the college basketball, for those who are saying out there that, oh, because certain blue bloods are down, college basketball suffers, you're not watching some of the games. Every single week, the Big East is delivering the goods. These marquee matchups have been fascinating to watch. Your first half tonight was really interesting. Jared Bynum was red hot. He hit his first 4 threes, and Providence was in it. I think, to your point, for UConn to score 50 in the second half of the game, that's where they sucked the life out of Providence tonight.
Yeah, and I think that had more to do with just this was not Providence's night. And you're allowed to have a couple stinkers like that. And I know like they lost the game to St. John's. They didn't play great in that game. They did not play great in this one. And this is not like a good time to have those moments when you are not playing well, right? This is kind of when you want to be peaking and you want to be streaking in the right direction. But like big picture, I am not worried at all about Providence at all. And to be frank, I think that the reaction that you're going to get from Ed Cooley as a result of this performance is going to be a good thing overall for Providence because it kind of woke them up a little bit, right? Like I sure as hell do not want to be in the practice tomorrow. Like good luck with that, man. That is not going to be fun. Yeah, I'm not worried about Providence at all. Like not even a little bit. Because here's why, Fana.
Yep.
Jared Bynum is like that dude is a killer. We've seen what he can do. We know what he can do. He's done it over and over the years. Last year he was sensational in big moments, right? And I think today he didn't play great in the second half, but he hit 3 huge threes when it looked like UConn was trying to be able to like pull away a little bit, like big momentum killing threes. The ones when he lets the ball go, it's like, ooh, that's a big one. You know how you say that sometimes when you're watching a game? He hit 3 of those. Devin Carter, like I said, I think he's an NBA player. I think he's going to play in the NBA. I think he is terrific. I would make I've said I think Andre Jackson is the best defender in college basketball when he's playing his best. I think Devin Carter is somewhere in that conversation as well. Like I tweeted this out. He looks like he is the biggest pain in the ass to deal with when he's guarding you. Like, come on, man. Looks like that sucks. And then Bryce Hopkins is an All-American. He's a 2nd-round pick, maybe a borderline 1st-round pick. And I think you can make the argument that when it comes to just straight up being able to get a bucket, he is as good as anybody in this conference. I think he might be the best player. I don't know if he's going to be the biggest player of the year. I think you got to give that to Tyler Kolek, but he's as good as any. I'm not worried about them at all. At all.
3 things before we get to Dan Hurley. Number 1, Big East standings check, folks. Marquette is now firmly in the driver's seat. They're well on their way to their first Big East regular season championship in a decade. Golden Eagles at 14-3. Xavier, Creighton, and Providence all at 12-5. UConn at 10-7. Seton Hall at 9-8. Villanova at 8-9. And I go deeper into the standings, folks, because how things shake out here, because now we know Marquette's going to win the regular season. Now it's like, okay, who's going to have to play Villanova in the conference tournament? Because all of a sudden that matchup has totally changed. Second thing on UConn, they out-rebounded Providence 40-20 in this game. They handled Ed Croswell in this game really, really well. They dug in defensively. They were there in the right places. And that's where Sanogo just played. He played such a good game, a good floor game tonight. And then the third thing is nobody for Connecticut had more than 3 fouls in this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
I was nervous for a second because our guy Kevin McNamara, KMac Sports, he great job, as good as anybody covering Providence. He tweeted out, Providence leads the Big East in free throw rate. They haven't taken a free throw yet today, with 18 minutes left in the second half, and it immediately led to a run of, like, out of 7 possessions, Providence shot 11 free throws. And I'm just sitting here like, hey, Matt, come on, man. You jinxed it. Can you tell me what the lottery numbers are going to be tomorrow?
He probably could. Hey,